Hey YouTube, it's AdamX20, and today I am, man am I upset. I was playing Homefront today, and I swear to God, some guy was in the corner. We were on the cul-de-sac map. This is one of my favorite maps. I like that, and Green Zone. And this guy was in their spawn. I was playing Korean, so he was American, and he was in the corner by the yellow house, and he was just shooting into the freaking corner, and people were dying. And I was so pissed off. I got right up to the guy, and he didn't even see me. He didn't even see me because he was looking at something else, and he was running around in a circle in this corner just shooting, and people were dying from him. This is the first time I've ever seen a hack on Xbox, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. Pretty pissed off. Now I know there were people listening, and I was yelling at the top of my vocal cords. I was yelling "Raggedy" again. He's killing me from across the map. There's no fucking way. No way he can do that. So I apologize to those people. But he did. He killed me, and he ended the match with, I think, 37-6. And I was trying to record. Man, I was so pumped. I'm sitting here pushing the button on my camera that I'm using right now, going "Start camera, start," but I kept pushing it and it would start and then shut off because I wouldn't let it finish starting, and I never got footage of him doing it, but there are a lot of witnesses. So I reported the guy, and I didn't know how to do that for cheating. It was the first time I've ever reported anybody for cheating, I think. And I found out that Microsoft's process for handling cheating reports is well, it's not what I expected it to be. This is the time where I would expect Microsoft to use the data that I'm sure they query. I'm pretty certain they query some data from players during game. You know, it's their network. I would think that they would have some reason to scan the data to protect the integrity of their network. And there's always, you know, the system sends data to the network, and it's got to send that data to Xbox Live, so Xbox Live can tell it if there are updates available. It's got to send some data. But yeah, this is the first time I've witnessed cheating so blatantly. There's another time where there's this one guy who, every time I clicked on his user profile in the game roster, never showed me his gamer tag, and I got video of that, and I thought that was weird. And he was doing some similar stuff too. But man, so there's an FPS hack going around on Xbox, and I don't know how long that's gonna last, because FPS hacks are just, dude, they're just simple code injection. That's all it is. Alright, I don't know C++, I don't know C#, but they can use the same code injection process. You know the code injection process that you get when you run a Trojan or something, like a sub 7 Trojan or something, and it modifies software that you already have installed, not your system INI file, because that's pretty much like a text-based file, but like it'll modify actual software, compiled software. basically all it does is it injects code into the running process. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't actually modify the file. What it does is when the file runs, it will inject code into the active process of it. And that's really all they need to do. All they need to do is just find like a code injection tool. Then they can debug what the buttons do, and then they can you know, with a printout, a debug window, display map data and shit like that. And you know, even through trial and error, you're gonna eventually find something. But once you map the buttons, I mean, that's a definite good starting point, because you can map the buttons and then trace the events through that and see how it goes, and start mapping out code objects to modify. So that's how FPS hacks work. And then they just modify the data. They modify the data as it's being sent to the network. So it doesn't matter where you shoot. You can shoot through anybody, or you can shoot through any walls. And I suppose it would also modify like your camera. You can modify your camera so you don't actually have to see walls, or you can see the gamer tag through the walls, because it could send the data about where your camera is in a different way. It could. I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly how they do it, but I'm pretty sure all FPS hacks use a similar code injection tool. And there's really nothing they can do except console ban. You can't run an antivirus for that stuff. Not that I'm aware of. I suppose you could probably put an update on the console for it, but people are just gonna mod chip around it anyways. So yeah, console hack day today, and I'm upset. Today, today I have to help our pastor move, and that's supposed to happen sometime in 3 hours. So this video will probably be uploading while I do that. They're moving from out of town, far away, to live in our church's, what is it? The little house owned by the church that's for the pastor, parsonage. So they don't have to drive 2.5 hours to get here, and then 2.5 hours to go home. So I'll be doing that today. But this video is long enough. I'm steamed. I'm gonna cool off by not doing anything. I updated my software. I'm gonna disable some features that aren't fully working. I'm gonna finish up the password tool. I'm gonna work on the password tool, which is going to be the tool that checks passwords for when you want to join a room that's passworded, or when you want to change the role of a user if the room has a password. You'll need to do that. So yeah, and then I'll be closing, not closing, but disabling features that aren't fully working, which unfortunately is going to include the hex grid for now, mainly because of shapes, and the isometric grid for now because the math is there for the isometric cells, but they're not laid out correctly. So, and then what I'll do is during beta, which is going to be just enough for people to play with, I will steadily put out updates, and even if the features aren't fully working, they'll the updates will still go in, and I'll just have them like disabled while I enabled while I work on them, and then disable them for the release. But yeah, gosh, this video is pretty long, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, YouTube.